A VFW post in Startsville near Canyon Lake is welcoming the public and veterans back this week. The reopening with restrictions comes nearly 2 weeks after the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission rolled out a plan for VFW posts wanting to reopen. Hill Country reporter Leah Durain shares how neighboring posts have not been able to implement the plan.
Veterans helping veterans, veterans helping community.
VFW Post 8800 Commander Ty Teal says service is at the heart of the group's mission.
Not only share their stories and share good times, but we also assist them with their benefits or anything that they may need.
These men are also passionate about combating the veteran suicide statistics of 20 per day in the U.S.
Suicide's a problem. Depression is a problem.
Teal says the posts help prevent isolation leading to suicidal behavior. The coronavirus pandemic put their work on hold. Posts have had to follow state orders related to bars. But early in September, TABC outlined 3 ways VFW posts could reopen. In a statement about the plan, TABC Chairman Kevin Lilly said this program exemplifies our agency's dedication to supporting those who have served our nation. Post 8800 suspended their alcohol license in order to reopen. The hall is open to veterans and the public 7 days a week from 2 p.m. to midnight. Capacity restrictions are in place and health safety measures will be enforced.
We're more than just a canteen. We're part of the community. We're essential.
Greg Brannon is the commander of District 5, which includes 13 VFW posts in the area, totaling over 2,300 members. He says so far the Startsville post is the only one that's been able to reopen.
Other posts, they're not able to do it because of the financial strain, the cost and the requirement. It's not just easy as, a couple of clicks on the computer. It costs money associated with that, which a lot of the posts don't have because of the pandemic.
These men are hoping Texas considers giving veteran groups more exemptions that would allow them to reopen without taking a hit in their already strained finances. I'm Leah Durain, the KENS 5 Hill Country reporter.